Hi everyone, and welcome to our weekly news from River City Sewing. Well, this coming week is going to be quite an exciting one with our bake sale coming up on Friday. So if you haven't booked in, you need to make sure that you're in. I think there might only be a few spots left now in the bake sale, so you really need to give us a call because it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you haven't, make sure you give us a call. There's still some Zoom spots available for those of you who'd like to join via Zoom, but the numbers in store are very, very limited. So we've cut it down to one session and we're going to be making it quite a unique sort of day. So we just need, we don't want you to miss out or, think that you might not have got in when the going was good. So make sure that you give us a call if you haven't booked in. So our fabric sale clearance is still going, and I'm going to move the camera slightly so that you can see. So we've still got quite a bit of fabric here at the moment. So we really, great time to stock up your colour stash, stock up your colours in your stash. Great for linings, backings, backs of table runners, all those kinds of things that you would, these are great value, good quality materials and fabrics. So all available right now. Now the other fun thing in this collection, and I'm going to come a bit closer, are some pre-cuts and panels. So we have some batiks. Lovely colours. We have some Christmas panels, have a few little odds and ends. We also have some of our carousel. So if you're looking for something bright and cheery, this would be great for kids' quilts. Anything like that where you need sort of a variety of colours, then this is going to be really great for those. So all of these things are 50% off. So if you're not quite sure, why not give us a call and we will be able to help you with that. If not, just drop on in. There's going to be, there's quite a few pieces left here on the stand. So we need to move these so that we've got space for our new ranges to come in. So it's getting exciting. So they're really fun. Now the great part about some of these fabrics you may not realise is that some of them are dress weight. So these beautiful motor fabrics would make, if you're into dressmaking, you want to make a really nice light sort of top. These are gorgeous fabrics. So there's a couple of these in here, and they're much lighter weight than what we would find normally. They're called Boro Woven Foundations, and these are just beautifully lightweight, great as a summer weight. And there's some more here as well, and this is another motor one. So they would make beautiful summer weight clothing. So that's really fun. So there's not just, we've got a little bit of that here, and some of that is all on the table. Now, if you like that linen feel of fabrics and cottons and things like that, then these are beautiful. So all these Boro Wovens are normally, let me see, $28.49 a metre or roundabout. So these offer good value. So dressmakers, we know that you need a little bit extra. So these would make some beautiful, beautiful things. So why not come in and have a look? Now, the really fun thing about using some of these fabrics for different items is because you can get, you've got really great fabric that you love, right? But you don't want to waste that on the inside of a bag or anything like that, where you still want a nice fabric, but you don't want to use your feature fabric. So these kinds of fabrics, when they on sale, I mean, we've got some beautiful Jenny Beyer, we've got some, batiks, we've got other things there. Save your beautiful, like your special fabrics for your outside of your bags or the base of your placemats and things like that. And why not take advantage of some of these really good quality fabrics at half price? So to build up that lining and backing stash. All right, so that's really a lot of fun. So many of you wondering about what is EQ8 or what's Electric Quilt and what does it do? Well, there's a lot of different things with Electric Quilt Company. They've done quite a big range, but the biggest product, I guess, that most people know about EQ is the quilt design program that is now called Electric Quilt 8. Now with EQ8 you can design your own quilts. It's got blocks inside. You can recolor, scan your fabrics, pixelate quilts, and really have a creative design structure. And you know, EQ has been around for a long time, and many quilters use it to recolor and redesign. Now the fun thing is that if you have a group of fabrics and you're not quite sure what to do, you can, with EQ8, you can take a picture, scan it, or take a picture and bring it into the software, and you can recolor a quilt before you even start, and things like yardage, fabric yardage and things like that. So you can determine exactly how much fabric you need, either in fat quarters or in meterage. So EQ is a really great resource tool for quilters who like to, you know, to have a little bit twist on designs and things like that. The other thing about EQ is that, you know, with the different quilt layouts and all the fun features in there, there are lots of fun things you can do with it. Now, any of you who've been to my Hoop Sisters classes over the last 10 years know that sometimes we'll recolor our quilts in EQ so that you can see a plan of exactly how it's going to look when it's finished. And that's the beauty, because we can actually visualize something with the right colors using the fabrics that we're using, and it's really a great visual aid. So normally you buy a pattern and you see the design and you might see a sample with a certain colorway. Well, with EQ you're able to change that. So that's one of the great features. The other one is that you can draw your own blocks, design your own quilts, all those different things. Now in EQ, now this is a booklet that has all of the blocks that are contained in the EQ library. Now as you can see, there are loads and loads and loads of different blocks, and that's the blocks that are in the standard EQ8 block library. That doesn't mean you can't add some, draw some, or modify some for your own, okay? But instead of going through all the menus and finding them, this is a little reference book, and it gives you a really great idea. If you like applique, there's lots of applique blocks. If you like, you know, all different pictorial styles, the traditional styles, look, this gives you an idea of all the different blocks that are ready when you open up EQ8 are already there, okay? So there's lots of resources. There's also books on designing your own quilts. There's a book for lessons for beginners, but there is lessons and videos built into the software. So if you've never thought about EQ8, or you're thinking, well, you know, patterns don't sort of interest me, or I'm getting tired of some patterns, why not think about buying your own software to do those kinds of things? Look, I think it's really a lot of fun, and with these reference books and the tutorials that are built into the software, you can have so much fun. The one thing that it does do for people who love foundation piecing is that you can print your own templates, design your own blocks, and print your own templates. So that is really great. So why not have a think? If you're thinking that you don't want to spend all that money on the full-blown EQ8, there is an EQ Mini. So EQ Mini allows you to have some set layouts. It won't allow you to scan your fabrics in, but it'll allow you to recolor just using a basic color palette. You can design some up with some basic blocks. So it's not the full version, but it'll at least give you a taste of it. So that's EQ Mini. So if you're interested, I'll put some links on the website, on this email, so you can have a look and go a little bit further, but it is really a lot of fun. So why not take a look at EQ? Now there is a few other products in the EQ range, which is Blockbase. A Blockbase is basically a whole stack of blocks and their history, and you can basically print out foundation templates for them. And this is the companion book, which is really a history and an encyclopedia of all the different quilt blocks, and it's been put together to run with Blockbase. And Barbara Brackman's done a hell of a lot of research on all the different blocks, quilt blocks from all over the place. So this is the reference book and the block base goes through and has all these blocks in it. So if you're a fan of a Dear Jane, Farmer's Wife, or you just want to see the history and how these blocks come together and different variations of blocks, then this is really great. So it's quite a hefty one, but it's great fun reading on a rainy day. So that is some of the EQ products that we have here at River City Sewing, and we'd be happy to show you a little bit more about them if you would like to come in and have a look. So don't forget, you can check us out on the website under Electric Quilt, and our products are all there. As we get into the end of January, there's the rush for the kids to go back to school and all those kinds of things, and there's seems to be never enough time for us to settle down and get back into our sewing. But look, now is a great time to do a bit of a stock take of our materials. Okay, we've had a big sewing season up to Christmas, and why not do a bit of a stash stock take? Now there's many things in your stash that we consume. We've gone through rotary cutter blades. There was a time there when we had so much trouble getting them. Things like that. Checking your rulers, making sure that you're not chipping them. You've got lots of pins, needles, machine needles, all those kinds of things. So it's a good time to do a bit of a stock take of your stash. So we're going to put a link in this email for our download for your sewing stash stock take. Maybe it's a good time to think about what you need, and if there is things that you need, please, you can just send us through an email, give us a call, and we can give you a rundown of those particular ones and get them ready for you. If you want to do a click and collect, or you want to do a pickup, or you want us to post them out, we're happy to do it. So we're posting all over Australia, so it doesn't matter where you are when you see this email. So it's never, there's always an opportunity when you're in the middle of a project and you may run out of something. So a little stock take of the materials you have in your stash is timely at the beginning of the year, because we want to have a creative year. I mean, we don't want you to be held up with just because you haven't got a spare rotary cutter blade or needles or those kinds of things. So now's the time to take a look. So I know many of you like to have one big project for the year that you concentrate on, and like to do some small projects as well. So one thing that is a big achievement for your year. So Quilt Bee is one of these particular classes that we have this year that will provide you with a sampler quilt that is really beautiful, with lots of different techniques, that runs as a fortnightly class that you can pick up on each fortnight. So the fun thing is that there's lots of different blocks contained in this quilt and lots of different technique. So it's really interesting how this comes together. The techniques that you'll learn in here vary from using small pieces to quite larger pieces, pictorial style quilts like blocks like the Bee and a few of the others in here. So you're not just doing the same thing all the time. You might have a repeat of a couple of different blocks just to give you a perspective on colour, and for a lot of people that's really a difficult aspect, is trying to work out how colours work and all those kinds of things. So Quilt Bee is a really great class for that. So this will allow you to have one complete project that you can work on each fortnight, as well as give you the time and the variety to work on some smaller stuff as well. So that works really well. How this class works is we have a book from Laurie Holt, and we basically use that as our pattern for the year. Now, if you didn't want to put it into a quilt, you could use these block techniques to make other elements, like you could put them in other elements. Say, for example, if you like these small blocks at the bottom, you could do runners, you could do bags, you could do all different things with these blocks, but you're learning the technique, which is going to be really great. So don't always think, if you don't like putting it in a big quilt and you think I've got enough quilts, or I don't know what I'm going to do with it, that's fine. Use the technique to put it into something else. And if you're a patchworker, there's always something else you can put it into. So why not take a look? This is going to give you a lot of fine tuning of techniques and design and how to put blocks together and colour and all those kinds of things, as well as being a little bit of fun. So why not join our Quilt Bee class? So one of the other classes I want to touch on was our AccuQuilt sampler. Okay, and we're talking about a lot of samplers this year, but there's a lot of different things with samplers that offer technique. The unique part about this class is because we cut our blocks with the AccuQuilt system here when you're in class. If you have an AccuQuilt, then you can get yourself ready at home, or you can replicate the blocks and all that kind of stuff with the items in your stash. But this one is designed for a cube and the cutter. So what we're going to be doing is, rather than you use your rotary cutter for cutting out all your blocks, we're going to be using the AccuQuilt cutter in the classroom with our AccuQuilt system and our cubes, so that you can get some great results and get to learn how to use your AccuQuilt really well. So this is a fun sampler. It is a great starter to learn, different cutting methods, and AccuQuilt is one of those that has really accurate cuts. And it's so much fun. I mean, AccuQuilt is makes it so much easier. And if with cubes, you can do lots of different shapes, as you can see, and it's going to be a lot of fun for everyone. So if you thought about AccuQuilt and you weren't quite sure how it all worked, then maybe this class may be one that you might want to jump into, because you don't need an AccuQuilt system to start it, because we'll be using our systems in here. However, you might fall in love with it enough that you want to buy your own once you're done. It's transformed a lot of people's way of quilting and cutting. And I can tell you, I'm an AccuQuilt user and I love it. So let's see. You might not like our pink colours. This is done for the store colours, so you can see it's the hot pink and things like that. But you can do it in whatever colours you like. Use your stash, use other fabrics, it's up to you. But AccuQuilt's going to be one that will transform how you quilt and how your blocks come together, because you know that better cuts make better quilts, and that's all that AccuQuilt is about. So join in the fun with this Go sampler. Now, there's lots of fun feet that are available for all our different brands. Now, many of you are familiar with, the invisible zipper foot and all those kinds of things. So there is always a different technique that you're using that may be easier, completed a lot easier with the right foot. Now, machine companies put these out because they've had their feet developed to do a certain technique. Now, many of us just use either our 1/4 inch, our zigzag, maybe a blind hem, and the zipper foot or whatever every so often. But there's, as you can see, a range of different feet from all the different brands, and there's probably 3 times or 4 times as many as what we see here that are available from all the different companies. So if you're doing a particular technique and you're having a little bit of trouble, why not ask us about if there is a foot available to make that job a little bit easier for you. There are things like gathering feet. If you're doing lots of, you're trying to gather things up with the, holding the thread and gathering things, there's a gathering foot for most machines. There's a ruffler. There is a circular sewing attachment. There is, for decoration, there are multi-line decorative feet for a lot of machines, so that you can measure distances apart between your rows. There are lots of different feet to sew buttons on, so there's lots of fun things. So if you find that you are doing a job either by hand or it's taking you a longer time, then there may be a foot for you. On some of the, there's some new feet which are quilt binders, which can be attached to your machine, and so that helps you put on binding around different items. So lots of fun accessories that are available, and why not come and ask us. There's usually, like in most of the brands, they have a range of different feet to suit different machines. Free motion, some have got ruler feet, some have got all these different elements, all designed to help us do our jobs a little bit easier. So, and make our projects finish a little bit I won't say better, but make that finish a lot nicer. Okay, so why not ask us about all the different accessories available for your machine, and we'll be able to get them in for you if we don't have them in store, but there's lots to choose from, and why not ask our team about those next time you're in store. Pre-cuts are a fun thing that help you get a project started a lot faster. Now, if you're a hexie person, like a 1 inch hexie person, then look at the range of the mini charms that we have here at River City Sewing. Now, when I use my hexies, I don't pre-cut them into hexagons, right? I use my 1 inch papers and use these straight out of the packet to make my hexies. So if you're sick of cutting hexagons to put around a hexagon, if you're using the 1 inch one, why not come and have a look at the collections we have of these mini charms that are available. Now, the mini charms can do really fun things, like we have kits to use the mini charms to make these sort of bags. We have kits that make mini charms into these little quick and easy projects as well. So if you're not quite sure how you think you should be able to use them, then why not come and ask us how the best way to use pre-cuts. There's lots of different patterns, there's lots of different ideas and techniques that you can use. So mini charms are like a regular charm pack. So in a charm pack you have a collection of fabrics that the designer's made all to match, so everything coordinates. All right, so it's exactly the same with a mini charm. And if you're doing lots, you know, say you're doing lots of these bags and you love this, or you want to do a bigger quilt, or you want to do a kid's quilt or something, but you love the mini charms, don't forget these are a 5 inch square, so these can be cut into 4, so that gives you 4 of these mini charm sets. All right, with these you can blend different collections together if you like the different collections. So, you know, these are great. They're pre-cut, they're ready to go. You can make some really amazing projects. Now, one of the books, when we're talking about the 5 inch charms, this is a great book because you basically just need one charm pack to make a basis for a quilt. It will add some background fabric, or you can add more charm packs to make the quilt bigger, but this is a super book. Now, I've been making a quilt out of here, and there's lots of different quilt designs in here. The one that's on my table at the moment is, let me find it. This one here. Now, this particular one takes one charm pack and some background fabric to do that, and it measures out at 45 by 50. So that is really fun because it's nice and easy to use, and you know, you just change your colors out. So if instead of these colors here, if you had some beautiful soft collections like Abbey Rose, you could put the pink in the background and still it would look awesome. So if you're not quite sure how to use these, that's when come and see us as well. There's other books available and other items available that we can show you how to use these charm packs to their full advantage, right? So why not come in, have a chat to us, and we can get you started with some nice, easy projects. So the nice thing is we've brought out our collection of batiks on show, and we've got some beautiful boxed collections of the fat quarter of these batiks, which is really fun. So if you have had some of those batiks from us, the hand-dyed ones, and you'd like a little bit more, there are some left on the bolt. So, but if you haven't seen them, I'm going to bring this camera over so that you can get a closer look. Okay, so as you can see, lushness, they're beautiful hand-dyed batiks, and we've got a collection all presented in here. Now there's 34 pieces in here, and if you just need a little bit more, then there's some meterage of the items that are left here. So if you like your brights like I do, then these are a great collection to add to your stash. Now they're hand dyed, so each one is, you know, quite unique in its coloring and its pattern. So they are beautiful, they are really lovely. With any hand dyed, fabric, you know, there obviously needs to be some washing happen with these before you start having your quilt made. So because, you know, hand dyed fabrics are a little bit different, they have a little bit extra dye here and there, so it's a good thing for these to be rinsed with in your normal way that you would normally rinse your fabric before you start. So that's a little bit of a preparation tip when using hand dyed fabrics. But these collection are $2.19, so club members, you'll get your 10% discount off that. And these that are left on the bolt are $17.95 a meter. Again, club members, you'll get a discount on those. All right, so that is the limit of our collection on these particular batiks. So if you love your brights and you love batiks, then why not go right ahead. Anyone that's thinking of doing the Hoop Sisters Sisterhood quilt, like we've got our rainbow Celtic design, these would be perfect to do that particular quilt, because you only need fat quarters to do the colorway in that Sisterhood collection. Okay, so if you've been thinking about it and not quite sure what kind of fabrics you need a batik and you need a rainbow selection to do that particular quilt. So if you were thinking about it but you weren't quite sure, then get these. Even if you're not going to do it now, grab the collection while it's here, because otherwise, you know, it's very hard to find a rainbow collection for batiks like this. So get in while the going's good. So from Judy and all the team, thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Don't forget, bake sale next Friday, and we look forward to seeing you then. For all the girls who are Happy Hoopers, don't forget this Saturday, tomorrow, is Happy Hoopers Day, so we look forward to seeing you upstairs, masks on, and we'll look forward to seeing you for that. But until next time, it's Judy saying bye for now.